Hello, everybody. In this class, we are going to see what do you mean by syntax and semantic. General problem describing syntax and semantic. We are going to see some examples. We'll be just here. I'm trying a new software, new things. If you see the background, I'm not taking on a blackboard or something like that. So I'm trying a new things which I can able to explain up how things are going to move up. Now let's move on. What do you mean by syntax? The form of structure of an expression or programming unit. Example: DD, MM, YY, and there are three different formats which is given. Then there is a semantic, the meaning of expression, statement, and programming unit. And there is a question mark, syntax and semantic. Here, if you see that, you can able to see the PPTs also. So let's see what you mean by this one with the help of an example, which I can able to help you out. Okay. Now let's move on. I'll just take a pen and I'll write down what do you mean by syntax. Here, if I go up, what do you mean by syntax? This is one. First format is DD, MM, and YY. This is one more DD, MM, YY, YY. Now I have taken 1st of February 1998. Here I have taken 1st of February 1988. Correct? Now if you see, there are two different forms. For me, this is my what do you call day. This is my month. This is year 98. Here also day, month, here also year, if you see it. But if you see for some, it says 1st of 1st of Jan 98. Here also 1st of Jan 98, 1998, 19, sorry, 88. This is 88. I'm sorry, this should be 88 and this is 98. Correct? Now for some, it is, this becomes month. So uh, this is January 2nd 98. This is January 2nd 1988. So for some, first one becomes date because I did not specify how you are going to write a date. If you write it, then you are coming to know that there is a problem. Then then you will see how I have to do it in the net or somewhere like that. Here, if I specify that, there is a help also. We say that you need to specify or you need to write like this. With the first two letters is nothing but your date, the next two letters are nothing but your month, and the next two letters are in the format of year. And I'm going to give you only two word Wi-Fi. I'm not giving to give you four Ys. I'm just giving to you. I'm specifying, clearly specifying what. So this specifying how you're going to write is nothing but if I specify, how I'm going to write, then this is called semantic. Specifying how you're going to write your syntax is nothing but semantic. So a syntax is given to you, but it is not giving to you how you are going to write, then there is a problem. A syntax is given to you and there is a format which is, or the help which is given to you how you're going to write is that in but semantic. The syntax is every language is given and they specify how you're going to write it. The meaning of syntax is that they're given to you, and how you have to specify that syntax and how you have to write that syntax is nothing but semantic. Semantic, the meaning, if you just see this one, if you just see this one, the meaning of this, the meaning of expression, the meaning of expression. Here I have written one format, here I have written one format, here I have written one format, but here is specifying the meaning of it. I have given you the example of syntax and semantic. Now let's move on to other slide, which is already given as general language. Any language, whether in English or something like that, if you see any language, English, any language, which have a set of characters, and the characters are called statements or sentence or statement, and the rules are specified on each language. So let's see with the help of an example how we are going to do this one. I'll take a new page. And I'll specify with my hand. Now let's take an example. I have specified how are you. If I specify this one, this becomes my one character. This becomes ch. I write this, it become one character. this become one. This is what an English language, is it right? And there's some rules and regulations, a grammar which we need to follow it. Like you have to put a question mark, I have to put a inverted commas, and the first letter should be a capital letter. And these are all some rules which are not for a particular language, for an English. The same way, each language has this one, and this character, combination of these characters are nothing but statement. The combination of this character, we call this one as our statement. We call this one as our statement. This is a statement. Now if I write this is second year class, so this T H I, yes, one character, four characters, IS is second, and this is one more, then this is four, this is how many. The combination of this all together is nothing but your statements in English language. And how you spell, each language has separate syntax, separate statement, separate language. Now if you see this one, if I go to the PPTs, like any language, whether English or language, C language, a set of strings or character from some alphabet. Yes, we have specified some alphabets, am I right? We have specified these are alphabets, this is one alphabet, this is one alphabet. Combination of this one we call it as statement or sentence. The syntax rules specify each language which statement belongs, which each statement belongs. For this statement we are going to see. Now for an example, I'll take one more slide, I'll take one more page, and I'll explain you what do you mean by this one. Let's take an example. I'll just go for a simple C language program. I have to specify the pen. Let's go to this. I've specified, sorry, include std.h, then main, then printf hello, and I'll put a slash in here and return 0. If I'm return 0, it means I have to write int main, and then I have to write semicolon here, then I have to, if this on I'm writing page, then if you see this one, this is, if I specify, now let's move on to the same way. If I write this one, C out, hello, what does it mean? If I write this one, what does this mean? If I'm writing this one, this what I have specified is in C language. This what I have written in C++. Every language, this is print statement, means printing out the statement in C language. This is a printing out statement in C++, which you are going through at this current semester. So two different languages. This is one language, this is one language, this is other language. Two different print statement, one print statement, two print statement. Every language has set of instructions, set of syntax which specify that one. So if you take an example of C, which is printf for output, C out, this is for this one. So if you just see this what do you call a line, a syntax rule specify which language the statement belongs. The syntax rules specify which language it belongs. Printf, if you see this one, we can able to say this belongs to C. If you see C out, we can able to say this statement belongs to C++ programming language. Now let's move on to other slide. Let's I think so probably we have got, yes, lexema. In a programming language, if you see this one, in a programming language, the smallest unit is lexema, which describes the meaning of particular programming language, particular programming sentence. The lexema of a programming language includes numerical value, operators, special words, others, one of the link programming string, whatever it is. So we will see with an example. Let's go to an example. We'll see one more example here. I'll take one more slide here. Lexema. What do you mean by lexema here? A programming language with a smaller unit called lexema, which describe the meaning of particular sentence. The lexema of a programming language include numerical value, operators, special words, among others. A line which specifies a particular meaning of it. For example, if I write this one in a C language, if I write for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, or if I write any meaning, uh, int is equal to count plus 1. Okay, this one example, this is one example. Or if I write int int is equal to count plus 2. So what does this mean? This statement give you a meaning of it. Okay, this statement give you a meaning, specify a meaning. This statement also specify meaning. This statement also specify meaning, and this is, we can call it as lexema. This we can call it as lexema. This we can call it as lexema. This we can call it as lexema, which specify the meaning of, and it contains what it contains. If you see this one, it contains this one, numbers, boolean values, count is equal to count field, and int value, int something. If I write int I is equal to something, int j is equal to count plus 2, whatever it is. So this is one example, this is one, this is one. There are three values which I specified here, correct? We have specified. Now let's go to the slide, what it says. Lexema, a programming language, smallest unit of lexema, which describe the meaning of particular programs. And the lexema of a programming language include its numerical value, operators, special variable, others. One can think of this one programming language. Okay. Now this is one lexema. Let's take an example. Example for this one. Lexema index. Index 2 into count. This we can call it. These are all as one lexema. Or we'll see what about this one. This is all one lexema. What are this? We'll see in our previous slides. Okay, what do you mean by that? But if you see this one, index is equal to 2 into count plus 17. This we call it as one lexema. Okay, this we call it as one lexema. Oh, sorry. This we call it as one lexema. Now let's move on to token. What do you mean by token? Token are nothing but the smallest element in a programming language, that meaning compiler. Token are classified smallest element in a programming language which have a reserved words, constant or something like that, keywords. The token is a category of lexema. The main point here is this one. The token is nothing but a category of lexema, which is a part of a lexema. So lexema is divided into different part, and part of that lexema we call it as token. For an example, let's take example this one here. This array int is, this one is token int, this one is token, this one is token, this one is token, separate token. This all we call it as a lexema, but each statement is called token, and it contain what? Keywords, reserved words, identifier, constant, string, special symbol, operators. What does it mean? If you see this one, what do you call? For is a reserved word. Int, correct? Include all, while, these are, or we have to specify character, special symbol, constant. These are all part of a token. Token specify, these are all part of a token, which specify keyword, which specify identifier, which specify constant, which specify string, which specify special symbol, which specify operators. Tokens is smallest element of a programming, that meaning of a compiler, that give a meaningful to a compiler. Compiler must able to understand that, that give a meaningful. Now if you write, for an example, if in a C language you have done with C language, for an example, if I write for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, correct? If in place of for, if I write for fo, then I'll get an error. If I write f, I'll get an error. If I write o, I'll get an, it should specify the meaning to the compiler. If I write in an example, one more example, let's take an example. I'll rub this one in few words. If I write, for an example, if I have integer I, correct, character C. So if I don't write I, then it will give me an error. If I don't write character, it will give me an error. So in the main program, if I define integer, I should define, this is a reserved word, but after this, define it properly. If I don't define it, it will give me an error. It should give a proper meaning to a compiler. It should give a proper meaning. It should give a proper meaning to a compiler. The compiler can be able to understand it. If the compiler doesn't understand, then if you compile it, it will give you an error. What are the errors? These are the errors. This should be there. Keywords and other things. So token is the smallest element of a programming unit that give a meaning to the compiler. This is what the syntax semantic lexema. So in our class today, what we have seen it, what we have seen today in our class, let's move on to new one. In our class today, what we have seen it, what do you mean by syntax, semantic, lexema, then token, correct? These are the four parts which are very important for you, very important to you. We'll stop here. We'll see next class what we are going to do it, okay?